Alrighty then. It's the middle of the goddamn night here in Tucson, Arizona. Well, not the middle of the night, but damn near. It's a couple of hours before sunrise. Peruvian chanchamayo. I was a short number of minutes ago suddenly seized with a memory of a tune I wrote quite a long time ago. I would say this tune goes back into the 1990s, somewhere along the way there. I don't know. I think I actually originally composed this tune on the 5-string banjo. In fact, I'm quite sure I did. Am I? Yes. Yes, I did compose it on the 5-string banjo. And I named the tune in honor of a lovely little stream down in the Ozark region of Missouri. There's a couple of rivers or streams down there with similar names. One is called the Big Piney, Piney, Big Piney. The other, of course, is called the Little Piney, the Little Piney River. And I had an occasion several times to hang out on the Little Piney and even swim in it. Many years ago, I remember being chased by a horsefly when I was swimming in the river. The son of a bitch was coming after me with a vengeance. I just remembered that I had to take extraordinary measures to keep him from landing on my body, and of course. It doesn't take a frickin' genius to figure out what happens if a horsefly lands on you. You're going to be in a heap of hurt, man. I've been bit by a horsefly right in the middle of my back once when I was a young lad. I'll never forget it. I was about 9 years old, and I went to a summer camp up in Quiver River State Park, which is up around Troy, Missouri, north of Interstate 70 by, I don't know, maybe 30 miles, give or take. Kind of north central Missouri. There was a summer camp up there called Camp Zoe, Z-O-E. We called it Zoe, although some people might pronounce it Zoe, but everybody back then called it Camp Zoe. I went to it 2 summers in a row, as I recall. But there was this marvelous section of the Quiver River right at the camp that was right in front of a big cliff face on the far side of the river. And there was a deep and just absolutely crystal clear swimming hole that was so marvelous, with a sandy, sort of gravelly, sandy bank. I recall that there was a bit of a little dock there you could dive off of. It was a marvelous spot for kids to cavort around and go swimming in the middle of a hot summer day. But I remember I was up on the gravel bank. I'd gotten out of the water. I was soaking wet, and a horsefly landed on the middle of my back and bit the holy motherfucking shit out of me. And it hurt so bad, I just screamed, and I have never forgotten that incident. And horseflies have come after me on numerous other occasions in various and sundry places. I'm sure many of you out there have had similar experiences with horseflies. They're a force to be reckoned with, man, if they come after you. But that's not really the inspiration for this tune, but the Little Piney River itself is really the inspiration. It's just absolutely beautiful stream, runs down through the deep into the Ozarks, and I thought I'd name this tune Little Piney, and that's what I had named it so many years ago, at least 25 or so years ago. See if I can get through it here. Once again, playing on my beloved Mystery New England violin. I am of the opinion that this violin was made in New England somewhere, from a native, a local, or regional species of curly maple, and no label of any kind, no signatures, no labels, nothing on the inside of this violin. But very fine violin making, I must say. Very fine indeed. One of these days I'll have some quote unquote expert look at it. Maybe I'll shop it over to David Bromberg over in Wilmington, Delaware. See what he thinks of it. Uh-oh, we're in trouble. I've got to go turn the heater off. My cell phone picks up a deep hum that comes out of that heater, which is actually an old archaic unit, probably made in the 70s or 60s, that sits on the roof of this shack where I live in the desert. It's a noisy son of a bitch. You can probably hear it now. We'll just wait a minute or two till it finishes doing its thing, and then we'll play this fiddle tune. Meanwhile, this violin, I actually bought it from a feller off of a website called Fiddle Hangout. Perhaps some of you folks out there have heard of it. It's an interesting little site. It's got a classified section where folks sell violins with classified ads, just like you would anywhere else. Which is where I found this violin. It had average photographs, but I could tell there was something perhaps a bit out of the ordinary here when I saw these photos. So I initiated a conversation with the seller, and he was some, see, the heater just turned off. Perhaps you've noticed that. Now it's nice and quiet. So I began a conversation with the seller, and I ended up arriving at a deal with him, and I bought the violin from him, and but I had asked him if he knew anything about the provenance or the history of this violin. And he actually told me, and I think I've mentioned this in other fiddle videos of mine on my channel. He said, well, he doesn't know much about the violin. However, he did say that the guy that he bought it from told him it was made by an Italian stonemason who lived out on an island off the coast of Maine. He actually told me this. Of course, he did not claim to be the originator of such an idea. He said he was told this by the guy that he bought it from. Well, I actually did a bit of research, and believe it or not, I actually located a violin maker who lived on Deer Isle. There's a large island off the coast of Maine called Deer Isle. I-S-L-E, Deer Isle. And I found a little bit of reference information about him having been actively making violins, like say around the 1950s, 1960s, or right around in there. I don't remember his name. It was a European name, I think Eastern European name. Definitely not Italian. I don't believe. His name did not suggest that he was Italian. But believe it or not, there actually was a record of some violin maker that lived out on Deer Isle off the coast of Maine. So, having said all of that, in all likelihood, the whole story is complete and total bullshit. However, you never know. You never know about these things. What I do know is I'm quite hopelessly fond of the sound of this violin. It has a marvelous tone, very full and resonant, very easy under the bow. It just really suits me quite nicely. Little Piney. I think I composed this tune actually in the key of C, like it was a half, what we call a half C tuning on the 5-string banjo, where the low D is dropped down to a C, and so forth and so on. I guess the second string would be tuned up to a C. But I've set the tune here in G because it works out better on the fiddle in G, although I have been known to play the tune in C in the past on the fiddle. But I'm going to try it now in the key of G, and we'll see if I am successful. last time. Little Piney. There you have it, folks. I've always enjoyed the tune. I once managed to get my banjo playing friend Robert Freeman to learn it on the banjo, and we played it together perhaps a couple of times many years ago. And he brought a fine interpretation to the piece. And so fiddle and banjo together on that piece worked quite nicely together. One of these days I will record it. Hopefully I will manage to do that before I die rather than after. Take care, folks.